This week on Moulz Mel at the Movies, we discuss the 2006 film Killa Season, starring Cameron, Joel Santana, and Hell Rell, directed by Cameron. Flea was a basketball player, happy with his subtle hustle, until a Dominican connect introduced him to a new way to spread the work and make all the cake. Flea assembles his friends and decides to play it big by taking over a store and hustling on the corner selling drugs to whoever got money. This week on Moulz Mel at the Movies, let's go see Killa Season. Welcome back to Moulz and Mel at the Movies.
Listen.
Killa!
I'm a little faded. I wish it was off the Killa. Then again, I don't know. I don't know what the Killa feels like. I've never smoked.
We know
I'm faded off the Claritin.
The Killa comes in from the Dominican Republic and is shitted out onto newspapers. So I don't know if you want to be on the Killa.
This is gonna be a different kind of review. If you're tuning in, you know, isolated from the entire Rap Rankings episode, just listen to this Moulz Mel at the Movies by itself. We were saying it's going to be different. You know, it was a different viewing experience. We watched it together. The note-taking process was different. It's the kind of film that I feel like you want to watch with someone. It should be a communal experience, you know?
Yes. Your rating depends on it, honestly.
And so our notes are basically just our chat back and forth to each other on, like, it was a G chat or whatever. And you know, I've seen the movie. This is my second time seeing it. First time was 2013.
Know what this is for me. 5, 6 maybe.
Oh man,
I've seen this movie too many times for what it is.
For what it is, right?
But then again,
I suppose
I haven't, because I've never watched it alone.
I've always
made it a communal experience to watch it. So with that being said, I think I've seen it. Each time I've seen it has been fun because I've seen it with different kinds of people.
Okay. Yeah, I saw it alone it was like midday in my dorm room, laying in bed, just watching it, you know, which worked for me. Because, you know, I was 20 years old and, you know, I have no community to have a communal experience with at that point. And it was my first time seeing it. So everything was like fresh. So I don't think I needed to be with, it probably would have been better with someone, but, you know, I had no idea what to expect other than, like, I think I saw the gif of the dude busting a bottle, or Cameron busting a bottle over the dude's head. That might have been what made me want to watch it.
Yep.
You know, but
so yeah, this is Killa Season. Let's just go through our rating system real quick and give our ratings. And
we gotta do that. All right, yeah. Listen, gotta pull that back up. Listen, this movie's got me in a different kind of mood. You know, I'm feeling very loose. You know, very, very unhinged. Very, very just. Have you seen Killa Season? You know what the vibes are. But the rating system is adopted from, you know, Rap Rankings, the show where we usually do. But we adopted it for the films. So it goes like this. Each film is rated on a scale of 1 to 10. These numbers do not reflect the quality of a film, as that is indeterminable. Instead, each number reflects a level of enjoyment. In short, here's what each number means. 10 means this is a perfect film to me, one of my favorite films of all time. 9 means I love it. 8 means I like it a lot. 7 means I like it. 6 means it's alright. I don't dislike it, but I can't say that I like it. 5 means I feel practically nothing about this. 4 means it's not the worst thing I've ever heard, but I dislike it. Oh, not heard, watched. Yeah, see, listen, that Rap Rankings is seeping in. 3, I dislike it. 2, I hate it. And 1, I absolutely can't stand it. One of the worst things I've ever watched. Side note, when you hear us add a plus or a minus to those numbers, they have no mathematical or statistical value. They are merely indicators that mean one of two things. 1, it's like saying a light or strong version of that number. You hear a 5 plus, it's like a strong 5. You hear a 3 minus, it's like a light 3. You hear a 9 plus, strong 9. The second thing it can mean is, and second thing it indicates is that the rating could go up or down in the future because the ratings aren't static on this show. So you hear a 6 plus, I might come back, a few weeks from now and be like, hey, it's a 7 minus. You hear a 9 minus, I might come back and be like, it's an 8 plus. I might come back and say it's a 7. These things can go up or down. That's how it works here. But that's pretty much it. That's how it works. So we can give our ratings now. I gotta say though, I've changed my mind from last night.
I have too, but not by much.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Well, it makes me feel a little better. I wasn't scared. I wasn't scared to say my rating, but I thought about it a little more. And yeah. So you want to go? Should I go?
Go.
All right. Killa season is a 7 plus for me.
Okay. Killa season is a 7 for me.
Okay, so it went up for both of us.
Yeah, I had it
last night. You
minus.
Gave it a 7 minus, and I gave it a flat 7.
But I've thought about it a little bit.
Yeah,
and I'm happy with giving it a 7 because we're ranking on enjoyment and not quality of filmmaking.
Of the filmmaking, right?
It's about I enjoy. Right, I liked it. I enjoyed it. I had a good time watching it. I've seen it before. It has its flaws, which is what kind of caps itself out at a 7 because of these flaws. Yeah. It feels like an 8 plus during the first hour and 4 minutes of the film.
Right, and that's what I had to think about because I'm like, the first half of this movie, if it stopped at like the church scene, it would be, or like maybe shortly after that, the film would be an 8.
I'll tell you exactly where I think it could have ended.
Okay.
I need to pull it up real quick, which is fine. I have my heart.
Yeah, it would have been a 8 for me if that's where it would have ended. If the movie was like that hour and some change, and I thought about that. The second half of the movie is like 7 minus 6 plus territory, but that first half I enjoy quite a bit. I like it a lot. So, it all evens out for me. 7 plus. I like it. Strong 7. There were things that I remembered from my first viewing in 2013. Oh,
I found the spot. It could have ended right after he tried to play me.
Oh,
because that's when like Jewels and they get like they kill the people that are plotting on them.
Right.
And that's it. He tried to play me. Like they get their revenge and then that's it. It could have ended.
Right. Yeah, it would have been
just over an hour.
Would have been a better ending than the actual ending, which is not really an ending.
Well, yeah, and that's first of all, this movie has no business being 2 hours and 8 minutes. It's the longest movie that we've done so far.
And the best thing I can say is something that you said is like, it seemed like they must have been enjoying themselves to make it this long. It must not have been like a painstaking, strenuous process. Like
once
they were
they
having
go
fun.
to Atlanta to go to the strip club, I realized that they were just having too much fun making this movie that they knew they couldn't stop. And that's why even in the hour and 3 minutes additional in this film that's completely unnecessary, there are some bright moments. And I'm just pulling up our chats right now. This was produced, of course, by Killa Entertainment.
Which the second it comes on the screen, like my first thought is, all right, this was probably Killa Entertainment's first and last production. Probably invented for this film.
I've seen the logo before, but like up top in front of camera on videos.
Ah, okay.
Like on like stuff he's posted online. A little bit after this, but yeah, Killa Entertainment. I enjoyed Cam rubbing the dice on the girl's ass. I said the guy lied.
The infamous bottle over the head scene happens very fast.
I said Cam said 50. Dude never said 20, which is true. So he deserved the bottle over the head. Scissor bottle to the head. By God. He
pees in a guy's mouth. This is the kind of like 10 minutes in, a bottle has been busted over a man's head over what, like a craps game. And Cameron pulls down his pants and says, you know, a mid 2000s phrase that is dated now, isn't said anymore for obvious reasons. But he says, no homo.
A bunch of times. No homo, no homo. While he's peeing all over this guy's arms and face and head and in his mouth. And the guy spits out.
The guy comedically spits out urine. Which, like, was your mouth open long enough to, you know, like...
Oh, okay, so I said Cam's hopping around while he shoots at the target like an old movie gangster. I guess that's like when they go to the shooting range at LAX. They show old
he's
footage
like doing
from
the
like
narration.
99.
He's like, yeah, me and my crew, we like to shoot guns, you know, but I wasn't always this way. Great opportunity to say, this film, you're not watching it for the plot. There's a plot, but it's sort of, you know, not incomprehensible, but like, it doesn't really matter. It's inconsequential. Like, all you need to know is he was like an innocent basketball playing school kid.
Well,
he's selling a little weed.
This is true.
He moves on to stronger things.
And it uses real footage, but fake commentary.
The fake... All right, listen. Is this controversial to say the fake commentary may be my favorite part of the movie?
Giles.
Giles. Giles.
Mace
I couldn't tell if it was like comedic on purpose or if he didn't want to be doing it. There's got to be on purpose, right?
It was comedic on purpose.
Giles, I can't believe
the thing
you
about
missed the
Cameron
shot.
is you don't have to ever feel bad about laughing because he's in on the joke. You're not laughing at him.
It's one of his strengths as a rapper, as a entertainer. He's a very charismatic and funny man.
Yes.
You know?
And I even just thought about like in that scene where he goes to get like the necklaces and stuff like that from the jeweler, like very slick Rick with like the different fur coats. Like he's over
like,
a
my
little bit
fur
over the
game
top
was
as a
impeccable
character.
or something like that, you know?
Now we see Mace is
in the archival footage.
Bad boy, you know, in the archival footage on his basketball team. And the look of disappointment on Mace's face when Cameron misses the shot. And then they say the next day at school, and somehow this actual archival footage of Cameron in the 90s in high school, now a day later, he has a mustache, he's 40 pounds heavier, and he's visibly aged by about, 13 years. But here he is, he's in school. He sees the girl in the computer lab that eventually becomes a crack fiend, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Who's like a sister to him, supposedly, but he ends up smashing her. So, you know how that goes. Cameron, you know, he's a playboy.
He's selling some weed to the hall monitor. He's selling some weed to his teacher.
Mac and Devin vibes, because, you know, we saw that this season, and like Mac was selling weed to his teachers in administration, you know. So this might just be a trope in these types of films. I don't know. You know, they maybe Mac and Devin took cues from Killa season. I don't know. But you were saying that this was more entertaining than Mac and Devin because Mac and Devin was a little more polished. And as a result,
lot more polished. I mean, the sound mixing, the video. I mean, Mac and Devin is amateurish in a lot of ways. It doesn't feel like a real movie. But in some ways, this even
where
feels
you can't
like more of a real movie.
Certain things.
This feels more like a movie than Mac and Devin does, to be honest with you. To me,
well, it has. I know I just said the plot is inconsequential, but it has more of a plot in that you actually want to see what happens next. With Mac and Devin, I didn't really care what happened, you know? But here, it's like, even though it's barely a plot and it's not, you know, really developed with a sense of importance, I still want to know what happens because
and
the scenes are
the acting is almost unquestionably worse in certain scenes, like this teacher or his uncle or whatever. That, you know, he's listen. There's a lot to get to here, folks. So the audio mix in certain scenes, you'll have wind blow by, and like
which
this
Cameron
whole movie
acknowledges. He's like, "Yo, this wind is crazy today."
The movie was shot on a like DV video camera. This is pre DSLR 1080p like I was shooting movies around this time on the same kind of cameras. So there's a certain charm that this movie has that Mac and Devin doesn't, because it's more low tech than Mac and Devin. Mac and Devin like can pass for a real movie from a visual and audio standpoint. This looks like something that was like a student film production almost at points, except for one scene where they decide.
I think it really says something that this is a lower budget film, lower production value, and ultimately more entertaining. It matters what you do with what you have. You know, it's not just enough to have certain resources and things. I mean, this thing is like, yeah, there's wind blowing. Clearly, like some of the actors and actresses, like, you know, the post office lady later on, like you get the sense, what'd you say? Like Cameron was like, yo, you want to be in this movie? Or was it Hell Rel was like, yo, you want to be in a movie? And she was probably like, sure. And she just does her Mel thing and leaves. Like these are not trained actors.
There's only one actor from The Wire in this movie that I'm like, oh, okay, I know who that is.
Yeah, Omar from The Wire shows up. It's what's his name? Michael K. Williams.
He's
a pretty darn good actor, actually. You know, but he's in here, and like I don't know, is he like almost? Is he acting poorly to fit the aesthetic of the movie? Maybe, or is he just like having fun with it? I don't know, because he's like,
I think he plays like everyone's having fun, and I think obviously an actor of his caliber is doing like he's doing this for probably SAG minimum. He's just doing this to hang out and have fun, I think.
I don't even think he got paid for this. He probably was cool with Cameron or something, and Cameron's like, yo, I'm making a movie. And he's like, oh, yeah, I'm an actor. Like, I'll show up. He probably didn't say, I'm an actor. I'll show up. He just showed up to the set, and, you know, he's in this thing. It was a shock. I don't remember him being in it when I watched it in 2013.
He switches from weed to like heroin and crack because the guy,
his connect, who looks like Angel Diaz,
the Angel Diaz connect convinces him that, you know, weed is a Honda and, you know, dope is a Ferrari.
Yeah, you know, and he takes this speech
at
with
first.
Him
he's
to
like,
his
yeah,
crew.
he basically takes the exact speech to his crew, which at first he's like, I think I'm good with a Honda, but then he thinks about it. And, you know, he gives the infamous speech, this shit is not scheduled for us.
Yeah, you know, which is kind of reminiscent to me of Hustle and Flow, which we just got done watching. How, you know, a man ain't like a dog, beginning of the film. By the end, she's giving that same speech to, like, the radio people, you know? So Cameron, you know, he's got this speech he's got from Angel Diaz, and he takes it to his people to you know, rile them up, get them on board with this plan to sell, you know, the hard stuff, you know, the real stuff, the stuff that makes all the real.
So this guy that I guess is supposed to be playing Cam's uncle in the movie, with like his hat, like the brim of his hat is like square, like he like bent it, but in like a. He sounds great. He's like, let me show you what we could do with this, man. So he gives it to the Fiend who's wearing the I Love Crack t-shirt and has like this spider web design shaved into his head.
I make note of this because I'm like, you know, and I'm not holding it against because the film very clearly wants you to know what kind of film. It's not trying to masquerade as like a big budget production, you know? So I'm fine with a Fiend on drugs having a very elaborate haircut that a Fiend probably couldn't afford, you know, like a very nice haircut. And didn't you say he was wearing like a I Love Crack shirt?
Yeah, the shirt says I with like the heart and then crack.
It's a comedy, which is why I was laughing in part one where they describe this as a crime drama.
Right.
I'm like, all
so
right,
he snorts.
You know?
He snorts this. I don't know what is it, coke or heroin? He snorts this shit and he just falls out, and he's on the floor. And Cameron's like, "Yo, that's great. Like, you know, get this dude out of here. What are you doing?" He's like, "This is what I'm saying, man. We're gonna make a lot of money." So now, you know, he's selling these stamped bags of Killa, you know, and he's taking over the streets. And it's a bit of like a Scarface thing. I mean, obviously the rise to power, he's still living in his mom's crib, who's like actually his aunt.
She's definitely an untrained actress, but I enjoyed her character.
She's definitely his aunt. You know,
is that his actual aunt?
Probably. Like you guys need to realize, if you've never seen this film, I would say it's 95% untrained actors.
It's, you know, the cameras are, you know, not like top notch. The talent isn't top notch, but the heart and the comedy is there. It's there in abundance. And I mean, like you made note of these, like,
this is a movie where people just like get shot and it doesn't look real, but it's very just when someone gets shot, it's just very entertaining every time it happens.
Very entertaining, you know. And you got these what I described as Windows Movie Maker edits, you know, from scene to scene. It's like, you know, you got the fade to black and then it fades back in. It's just dialogue still continuing as like the scenes fading out. You know, reminds me of like Grand Theft Auto scenes. Like it just,
it's just the way that the audio comes, like the audio fades with the video is hilarious. So he takes over the corner store that he's posted up at by luring. So this guy that used to own the corner store doesn't anymore because his uncle came back, and Cam's like, I got a plan to take over the store. So like his plan is like going in, grabbing 2 loaves of bread, bringing them up to the counter and saying, hey, yo, fuck you, Habibi. Fuck you, Habibi. I'm taking this fucking bread. And then when the guy runs after him, he shoots him right in front of the store. I'm like, this is not a good plan. You should have just went in the...
Not only is it not a good plan, but like you have to believe that this guy has gone from like a decent basketball playing, you know, just small weed selling kid to a cold-blooded killer, like out of necessity, apparently. Like right, he's just ready to kill somebody.
This is what has to happen because this shit's not scheduled for us, you know? Say hello to the bad guy.
Yeah, America's not scheduled for us, so we're going to shoot somebody in cold blood right in front of the store.
A fucking immigrant store owner who's just fucking trying to pay his way through life. You know, fuck you, Habibi, and you're going to shoot him right in front of the store. You're not even going to just go inside and shoot him.
Bread.
You're gonna make him chase you outside of the store to kill him in front of a bunch of witnesses. Anyway, they drag him back in the store. But what's crazy
is he kills him, but then when he brings in the Italians to like get rid of the body, he's like, yo, this chop up shit is too much for me. So it wasn't too much to kill this man right out front in the storefront.
Yeah, but and let me tell you, the Italians who we'll see again, these guys are like the cleanup men, and one of them just takes so much joy in chopping dudes up
this body, bro.
Like, I mean, it's a bit of a gore fest, honestly. If it had better special effects, because it's very bright.
Like, I didn't remember that scene. Like I didn't remember the gore. You know, like to describe these Italians, they're like, it feels like they watched The Sopranos, but like only took away like the meme aesthetic factors about The Sopranos, like all of the actual nuance and intrigue and drama.
These are just the most caricature, like cleanup men you could possibly imagine.
They're like Paulie, but just turned up.
The phrase "report to hell, rel" is uttered, which I think is just in a vacuum is a hilarious statement.
Yeah.
So we're seeing them. We're seeing them like straight. I don't know. They're using like strainers, and they're like bagging up the dope.
They're bagging up there, and I wonder as I'm watching this. Now, look, I'm a clean cut sort of guy. I've never touched a drug, but I'm sure they weren't dumb enough to use actual drugs, right?
This is some like exploitation shit. I think it's props, but it looks like pretty dingy. Like it almost feels like you're watching a YouTube tutorial on like how to bag up. It's also funny seeing Hell Rel outside this corner store with the boombox blasting Cameron music while he sells Cameron branded drugs.
It's just there's so much like outward humor and then like small like like you were saying in a vacuum. It's like Report to Hell Rel is hilarious.
The bodega has like this background music that sounds like elevator music. So every time they're in the bodega, there's like this cinematic sounding background music playing, but in every other scene, there's either no music or a song from the album Killa Season. So it's very odd how they choose to employ the score in this film. We get the peanut butter scene, of course.
Great scene. It's a great scene. It's peanut butter. I didn't remember the peanut butter scene. Like, he's hiding the drugs in this jar of peanut butter. And I gotta tell you, folks, as we talk about this movie, you may be asking yourself, it's like, okay, there's just like chronologically going through but you gotta understand, there's no other way to talk about this movie. It is a collection of scenes.
It's a collection of insane shit that loosely ties together.
Yes. So, like, you just kind of have to take it scene by scene. There's no, like, real, true, overarching plot here. Like, it's, you know, it's just...
And, I mean, if you want to talk about the acting, there's nothing to talk about. Like,
there's nothing to talk about. I mean, I'll say Cameron is a natural to me. Like, he was probably the best actor in it.
I think Juelz delivered his lines a lot more professionally and, like, confidently than a lot of the other actors in the movie. But
I felt like he was taking it a bit more seriously.
These are not, like, performances that are worth being analyzed. We're going to just keep talking about the movie.
Yeah. I mean, it's just...
Okay, so then we get the scene that's supposed to raise the stakes and add the emotional pathos to the Cameron, a.k.a. Flea character, that we're going to see a tragedy occur on screen.
Quite frankly, disturbing.
Yes. Cam gets stuck up at the Papa John's. They take his watch. They take his necklace. And this is Omar from The Wire.
Yeah.
And then...
He's there with his niece.
His niece
He's rewarding
is outside
her with pizza for good grades.
Yeah, because she's had good grades. And he said, yo, just take everything. I don't care. Just let the girl go, man. Let the girl go. And they shoot the little girl.
I know I shouldn't laugh. I said in the notes, a dead child. I shouldn't laugh.
You see the blood squib blow up. Like they showed the bullet going into her, basically. And then her body, like, she kind of jumps. So she kind of, like, jumps down to, like, sell. I mean, she did her best. But then Cameron, like, runs outside. He's like, oh no, and he grabs her. He's like, oh God, help me, you gonna happen. You know, and his performance, I can tell that he's taking it seriously and he's trying to sell it, but, like, it's Cam. It's just too ridiculous. Like, there's too much. This is too serious for this movie. But it's funny nonetheless because they go there trying to get that moment, that scene, and it just doesn't land perfectly. It lands in a different way. Mel was saying he was feeling a little... Mel said, hilarious and very fucking shocking. A dead child. I shouldn't laugh. But help.
Help.
Police. Help. Police. Help. What the hell movie is this? This is insane. Then we get the meme. It's Cameron and Hell Rel standing in the kitchen, and they're just leaning up against the shelves, like, and the kitchen counter, and they're just like,
they're distraught over the shooting.
They're selling the after effects and the grief from the death of his niece, and then it zooms in on Cameron's face, and I've seen this as like a meme. He's crying, but, like, his face just looks crazy. Deranged. She's just like, you know, this is the part in the film where, like, Cam just, like, like, he has nothing to live for anymore, you know?
And he says as much. He's like, I don't care about nothing. He's like, I was just trying to take my niece and get some pizza. So, like, he becomes more cold-hearted, yes. I guess. But even though he's already killed somebody. He killed
This is when the cops start coming after him. They come to his mom's house or his aunt or whatever. They say, hello, sir. We're looking for Flea. Do you know where he is?
Yeah, great cop work.
This dude tries to take over the block he's going to try to take over the block. And he's going to provide some resistance to Cam. and he's wearing a college dropout shirt, which is pretty funny. Then we got some
outdated,
gunshots.
because if this was '06, late registration had come out already.
Yeah,
so this is...
we get some funny sounding gunshots around this point.
Sounds like hitting a fork against like a metal pan.
Bing, bing, bing. And then the Italians return. Okay, the spit scene. So the revenge on the Papa John's situation. Cam has a chance to kill a child.
Right, to kill the child of a person,
Kill the child of the people who killed his niece.
Yeah. Yeah, the man who shot his niece is with his niece.
They're there with their niece or their daughter or something like that.
And he runs and leaves her there, which is comedic in itself. So he's a coward. He runs off and leaves his niece. And Cameron walks up to him. And they do this like back and forth where like it shows her face, then him, then her, then him.
It's her from his perspective. So he's looking down at her because she's a little kid and he's a grown adult. So he's shot, when they shoot him, it's like from above. I mean, from below. And then they shoot her from above. And it's like a standoff. And I'm like, is he going to shoot her? And then he doesn't shoot her.
No.
He hawks a loogie.
He does something
right
worse, if you ask me.
Yeah, he hawks a fat loogie right in her face, spits on this little girl's face, and she goes, "Ah!"
She screams. It's completely
It's probably
absurd.
the funniest scene in the entire movie.
It's gross. It's shocking. It's absurd. Even in these times where we've seen so much violence, so many heinous things throughout the world, this man spitting on this girl is still like, I'm like, oh my God. Like, I almost like want to clutch my pearls. Like, I can't believe this. Like, he spits on this little girl right in her face.
Yes.
And just runs off.
The cops continue their investigation. There's that guy that says there's enough snitches in the city. I don't talk to your kind, which is a great line. I said there's enough snitches in the city and I don't talk to your kind.
Which I guess they're looking for them. Like the cops are like, it's like, I don't really know what they're doing.
The cops are trying to get his guys to flip, basically.
Right. They're trying to break up the Killa operation.
Right. So... they trying to take over the block, and then it cuts to the block, and then there's the guys going, "Yo, let's take over, B." I wrote he did not get the rights to use an Al Green song, LMAO, which in the credits apparently he did. So
apparently he did, and I can only imagine how those proceedings took place.
And then I wrote, why does this look like an A24 film now? For like one or two scenes, I'm feeling like, I don't know if I'm just used to the style of the film, but I'm like, this seems like, I don't know, this is like borderline like an art film. And then, Cam gets woken up and he's getting told, you got to go to your grandfather's funeral. And we get him performing.
His aunt, mom, whatever she is, like, she's like, no, what she says is, she's like, hey, nigga, wake up. You got to go to your grandfather's funeral. Like, that's how she says it. Like, it's such a stilted delivery.
So his grandfather has passed, and he goes and performs the outro from the album, Love My Life. You get, like, the first verse and, like, some of the chorus, I think. And then it fades out. It's not like a full music video, but it's just a portion where
it's kind of a music video. They show
there's some really
of his
funny
family.
banter between like the guests in the funeral, and which like on one hand it kills any sort of like emotional resonance that this scene could have, because I mean they're literally like, the big joke is that this old lady said, take your hand off my hat.
Yeah, this guy is, I forgot who it was, but he's basically trying to like have intercourse with this old lady.
He's trying to fuck this old lady at the funeral, and she's not having it. She's great, actually. Her one-liners are just phenomenal. She doesn't care that she's in this movie, it seems. So she's just very natural, very relaxed. Like, the delivery doesn't sound stilted. I think the comedy in this scene worked for me. It's just weird that it's in this scene. You hear the AC in the funeral home. You hear some of the AC whirring in the background.
Central air is all in the shot. It just, like Killa season, man.
The old lady, I'd do it to you. Do what? She says. I said it should have ended on this scene. Would have been an 8. Still an hour and 12 minutes left, though.
It's just...
Then they said after he performs the song, they said those were beautiful words.
Is that where, like, he did a eulogy or something? It was a song. It was a performance.
So then...
I mean, they were beautiful words, I guess, but,
He goes to his lawyer. He goes to see his lawyer.
Why does he even see the lawyer? Like, I don't even remember.
He gets locked up briefly.
Oh, right.
He gets taken in on some bullshit, and then his lawyer gets him out. He tried to play me, drops. They get revenge on the ops. And then at this point, I'm like, okay, now it's really over, right? No, there's an hour and 4 minutes to go.
He gets a Lamborghini from Fred, a.k.a. Funkmaster Flex.
Yeah, he gets the pink Range Rover, too, which I've seen in person, actually. But I'll save that story for when we do Public Enemy, the mixtape.
Okay.
I wrote, and we got Coke now. I don't know what that is in reference to, but it was funny. And we got
Joel said it, I believe.
Okay. The original version of He Tried to Play Me before they had to replay the sample. Doesn't sound like this on the album. Here we go. This is the exact moment this film wears out its welcome with me. There is an hour left from this exact moment. And then Mel sent a bunch of dots.
I'm speechless at this point because I don't remember this scene from.
You don't?
So I didn't remember this scene from 2013.
How could you forget this scene?
I don't know.
Must
Maybe
have gotten
I was
up to like go to the bathroom or something and left the movie running or something like that.
I don't know. Maybe I was aroused by it, but in this film where we've seen a person shot in front of a store, a kid has been shot in front of a store, a kid has been spit on, and yet it gets crazier because they bring in like these women who are basically drug mules. He goes and meets his connect, and they're doodling out the drugs.
Right, and like they the whole thing with drug mules, they like swallow,
they hide it up their butt.
These condoms of the shit, and then like they poop it out, and then they have to wash it off, and you have to see all of it. So I wrote, why are they doing this for so long? It's been 2 minutes of shitting so far. Mel says there's gotta be a better way to transfer drugs. Okay, 3 minutes of shitting from 1 hour 7 minutes to 1 hour and 10 minutes. Mel wonders if anyone can shit on command like that. Then we get 30 seconds of them washing the doo-doo covered packs. Nearly 4 minutes of shit content total with 57 minutes left to go. I now feel like we're watching Killa Season 2 because Killa Season ended 4 minutes ago and now feels like the movie's restarting, basically.
Yeah. It's just there's so much more to go, and none of it's particularly important.
Let's take a little bit of a break because I see that now we're coming up on a scene where I wrote good song that didn't make the soundtrack, Weekend Love. It ended up on the Public Enemy #1 mixtape, but with drops all over it. I have the studio version to play on the show.
And I see that's what you sent me here.
Yes. So,
all right,
folks, if you've never heard Weekend Love from Public Enemy #1, or if you have but have never heard the untagged version without the G-O-D and how the beat actually... there's like 2 or 3 extra seconds up top from the version that's on the mixtape. So I'll be quiet. You could rip it straight out of this episode if you want. We'll play the whole thing.
One of us up. I might send it to you. We might not. Who knows? But yeah, here it is. I'm gonna play it. Weekend Love.
Killa. Harlem World 89, black Jordans, they were mine. 108th toy dog is the only one ever paid me mine. Baby mine, lady fine. You ever dated Don before your favorite rhymes? Had gator line, major crime, made me grind. Cop fancy heat, you know hater time. Cat food, fancy feast. Dated Nancy niece, she like candy treats. Goddamn, she sweet. We did the Lancy Street. We hopped the D train. You don't understand the streets. No hassle, heifer. Did we battle? Never. We went east to shopping, copping them tassel levers. From gimbals we gained. Make it simple and plain. I want to nibble on your ear. Rekindle the flame. I'm God's child, but yeah, I got devilish game. Once you meddle with Cam, man, it's never the same. So you through with the peeking, you pursuing and seeking. You know the season. Killer, what you doing this weekend? Huh? Killer. You could be, 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 you could be. You could be my, you could be my, you could be, 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 you could be. Killer, Some say that I'm belligerent, others say that I'm ignorant. I don't just experiment, intimate, not my sentiment. Every day at the tenement, yeah, yo, like I invented it. Scrambled just like eggs they're Benedict. They don't ever remember shit, all they want is they membership. Only one that they gettin' is jackets, and that's the end of it. They want designer recliner along with benefits. Won't take a risk, but wanna spread the mic. Wipe them on my agenda quick, I need the other gender thick. You see my Monday to Fridays, I need a Friday to Sunday. We'll eat Fridays on Fridays and go to Sundays on Sundays. Drink a little liquor, maybe twist a L. Play catch and kiss, if you don't kiss and tell. Take the city bus, I come through with chauffeurs. We could do Air Ones, hun, or Louis loafers. Yeah, I'm truly focused. Take down your Snoopy posters, put up killer seasons. Now who the reason? Come through this weekend. You could be, 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 you could be. You could be my, you could be my, you could be, 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 you could be. Killer, killer, killer. I drive big cars, puff heaven haze. Not just the weekend, that's 7 days. Rev up the engine, not a lemon, it's lemon. That's the color. Wanna play 7-Eleven? You know catch and hump, your butt got an extra rump. Forget your man, extra clip, extra pump. Don't mean to be extra, but my extra stunt. Extra money, extra piff, extra blunts, extra, really some neck I want. Not the dude for help, but you truly felt. Add fat, stomach flat, I can see a Louis belt. Mine on 2, for any gunplay. I'm a troublemaker, yeah, some say. Your model material, you need a runway. So let's run away, we can hit the runway. Round trip, not a one-way, come play. Rio Friday, Spain on Saturday, back on Sunday, make work Monday. You could be, 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 you could be my, you could be my.
Weekend Love, y'all.
Yep. How you like
I feel
it,
like a radio DJ right now. Weekend Love by Cameron. Yeah, but gotta love untagged versions. You gotta love tagged versions too.
You gotta love them both. That's why you gotta have both. You gotta got the one from the mixtape. You gotta get the one that was posted on the blogs a couple months before.
Yep. But yeah, that's in the movie. And now it's in my Cameron folder on my computer. Yeah, you know,
sneaker box in a Dwayne Reed bag. Like the dude shows up with a sneaker box in a Dwayne Reed bag. Mel asks, "Why did this just become so dramatic?" They spinning their wheels now.
It's the fight with him and his because she was like trying to snort some coke while he was at the door.
Oh yeah. So she's calling him a fiend, and he's like, "You're a crackhead," and she's like, "You're a crackhead."
It's ridiculous. It's just
I Want to Be Your Lady from Diplomatic Immunity Volume 2, which samples Ghost Town DJ's My Boo. No idea why they put this in the film, because that album came out 2 years earlier. Mel asks, what is going on? I say, a montage of nonsense.
Yeah. You know, I'm like, what does this have to do with anything? Now they're just like things happening on the block, just assorted scenes, miscellaneous scenes.
This is why I'm capping my rating at a 7, because I can't forget
this
that
is why
there's
it
a
can't
bunch
be
of
an
shit.
8, even though the first hour is an 8. I can't.
The first hour is definitely an 8. Very highly enjoyable despite its flaws. This is kind of boring.
You know, now they're just doing stuff. I mean, folks,
okay. I just had to ask, why do we all of a sudden decide to light things stylistically? What is with this belly-ass lighting all of a sudden? After an hour and 25 minutes of non-color corrected, straight out of DV cam footage.
Yeah,
and of course, it's a sexual scene.
Yeah.
With those Love Lockdown drums, like you said.
The weirdest musical choice for this scene.
Yeah, it feels like it's shot like a 90s erotic thriller. It's the only scene in the film with any sort of like directorial flair to it.
I feel like they were not actually having sex, but like his penis was exposed. Like, you know, like they're I don't know. Like it.
Right.
It's
so the white girl gets introduced because I assume they want to play the song "White Girls."
Was she white?
Cameron from the album.
I thought she was like Italian or something.
That's
like
white.
Latina.
Bro.
She's
Italian
white?
is white.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, she ain't black. All right.
She ain't black.
You know,
the fiends start lining up. The fiends are very funny. The ones who line up when he's standing outside of the store. But again, I feel like I'm watching the movie over again. But like, they did a whole nother Killa season right at the end of the last Killa season.
Yeah.
Oh, when they throw the dude in with the rats, the real rats
man
inside
in the trunk with the rats, and he just goes,
Let's see. Movie falling apart.
Yeah, Mel's like the movie's falling apart. Moulz is like still 35 minutes left. They've given up and like referring to Cameron's character as Flea. Now they're calling him Cameron. Like, and it stops being a movie and turns into just like Dipset hanging out footage.
So they go to Atlanta. They board a plane. Yeah. They go to Atlanta, and I wrote. So this was just an excuse to play "Suck It or Not." They write scenes for this film just to shoehorn every single song from the album into the movie. And then this is a version of "Suck It or Not" with Webby on it.
Yeah, Wayne isn't on this one, I guess. And
I thought maybe the label didn't want to clear it. Someone films themselves fingering one of the strippers, which I feel like is a bad idea.
They're in Magic City. It looks really smelly and dangerous and not like typical Magic City behavior. What is with these look, Streets is watching. There's just like a needless.
I think it's just like that whole like it's just like
the rapper stuff.
It's just the rapper shit. It's like, let's see some titties, let's see like some ass. Like, come on, this is like a rap movie, right?
Right. Let's put it in here because we can.
Like, we're the hoes
like us because we rap. Yeah.
Then we see Ja, the youngest member of Dipset. He's like literally like I don't know, like 6 or 7 years old. This kid. And he's like having a conversation with Cameron. He's like, "Nah,
that's the problem now. Like you feeding everybody or something."
He's on this album, Killa Season. He's on What the Game's Been Missing by Jewels. He's just like he was just like this kid that was like in Dipset. Like, I don't know how to describe it. He was like literally a kid.
Must have been a family member, someone.
So the girl from the computer lab, like I said, she becomes a fiend. She got kicked out of school. But then she gets herself together. Like, Cam's like, yo, you're going back to school.
I'm like, I've never seen anyone. That I remember from 2013. It's like her just like going from being strung out to cleaned up.
The day after, you know, they're supposed to say the day after that basketball game, and he looks like he's 12, 13 years older. You know, this girl she was the girl from the computer lab. Now she's a fiend, but Cam doesn't like seeing her like this. So he's going to tells her to come back the next day. And she's like, oh, I'm going to get more dope. And it's like, just come back the next day. So he enrolls her back in school. And
not the school she was at, not university. It's a community college.
He enrolls her in the community college, and she turns her life around in 48 hours. I've never seen.
Well, it seems like within weeks though, which is still unrealistic. Like
she's totally sober. She's cleaned up. Her hair is back to like everything is back on the up and up. She's exactly how she was.
Which I guess is very hopeful filmmaking. Like.
For sure, but we never see it's just one of the movie magic. Let's just say that.
Someone who wrote this had a heart because they wanted to put this scene in here. Like Cameron. She got better.
Cameron wrote this.
So listen, it says something about Cameron. I guess
the big shootout at the end. You call it the most abrupt and anticlimactic shootout in film history with the lowest stakes ever. It's pretty hard to follow the action here. I think that it should have just ended on the scene before the shitting, as I said. Feels like the movie is done an hour and 4 minutes in, but they were probably having too much fun making it, so they decided to shoot for another week.
They do the shootout. Cameron accidentally, a cop gets killed. He runs off.
Everything feels like they're rushing to the climax now.
Which is like, what's the point in rushing now? You've been taking your time with these ridiculous scenes for 2 hours. Like, at least wrap it up in a way that makes sense. But like, he retreats to New Jersey to hide out from killing the cop. And the final scene is just like one of his ops, his enemies. Getting visited by one of Cameron's former women because she's mad at him for cleaning up the former fiend and then like having sex with her. He's like, you out here effing crackheads? And he's like, no, it's not like that. So she's mad at him. And so she gives the ops his information.
This movie has the worst ending of all time. It just ends on the most random scene possible.
So you're like, is he going to get killed by this guy? Like, you don't know. It just ends on this. I can't even call it a cliffhanger because there's really no
it ends on a scene where it feels like there's at least 3 or 4 more scenes that could have been coming after that one scene.
And you don't want more scenes because it's already kind of worn out its welcome, this movie. But it's like, I mean, at least wrap it up though. Like, it's just like the credits come on and I'm like, wait, what? Because I don't remember. I remember the film ending with the shootout for some reason.
I feel like I've seen this film a bunch of times, and maybe every time I watch it, I'm surprised that this is the ending.
It just ends with this scene. She gives Cameron's like hideout information to this guy, and he's like, all right, and then it ends. And you're like, okay. All right, kill a season, I guess, and folks,
the last thing, you sent me a screen cap from the credits. The credits, which are moving at like the speed of light, by the way. Again, were you informed that if it goes any longer than this, it won't fit on one DVD?
Maybe that's what happened. I don't know. But the screen cap I sent you is like the credits. There's like a whole block of people. It's just like, what is it, like drug fiend? There are like 15
3,
drug
4,
fiend.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. There's 19 credited drug fiends. Apocalypse, Beano, Blizz, Christian McLeod, Dave McCullough, David Morse, Iron, Isaiah Prince, Isaac Rodriguez, Jehu, Josak Batiste, Keith Williams, Keith Robinson, Sean Kilkenny, Shamar Addison, Tremaine Scott, Stan Adams, Stephen White, and Tyrone Slade.
Oh, man.
They always, no one ever shouts out the bit players, the drug fiend in the movie, or the other 18 drug fiend for that matter. this has been the Moulz Mel at the Movies Killa season explanation, analysis. Certainly not analysis.
Like, there's nothing to analyze. I mean, it's
highlight reel.
It's nothing to analyze without getting over academic about it. You know,
right? And it doesn't deserve that sort of analysis.
It doesn't.
What we were saying.
I don't think Cameron would want that.
This is a communal experience. This is a party movie. This isn't something you sit down and analyze like a film. I would say the more of a Cameron fan you are, the more mileage this film will have with you. All right. That's it for me.
I ain't got nothing else. We can hit the music if you're ready.
Well, yeah, sure.
All right, here we go. Oh, wait, I gotta load it in. Okay. Cameron, you made something entertaining. I liked it more than Mac and Devin, even though it lacked the audio and video proficiency of those. I think the charm is in its amateurish nature at points. So, hey, listen, for what it is, like, it should be an 8. Let me just say that. It should be an 8. It should be,
but
with
like
some
the
editing
album,
and
spoiler
restraint,
alert,
it would be an 8.
Maybe with a little bit of trimming, we could have something a lot better.
Yeah, you know. So, yeah.
Not the worst thing I've seen this season.
No, for sure. Judgment Night is still the worst thing I've seen.
And as far as, like, movies sort of, like, haphazardly assembled by rappers, it's better than Streets is Watching by far. And it's better than Mac and Devin, even if on a technical level it may not be.
Oh, man. All right. Well, here's the music. Good night, folks.
Last week on Moulz and Mel at the Movies, Moulz fucked up and said we were watching Soul in the Hole, the 1997 basketball documentary. Well, folks, we were watching Killa season, but next week, it's actually time to put our soul in the hole. That's right, we'll be watching the basketball documentary from 1997, Soul in the Hole. Will it be very soulful or very holeful? I asked last week, but hopefully next week we'll get the answer right here on Moulz and Mel at the Movies.
Hey, it's Mel from Rap Rankings. To hear the full episode this clip comes from and all of the other episodes, check the link in the description, stop by raprankings.com, or search Rap Rankings on your favorite podcast platform. And please consider liking, subscribing, and commenting to help us grow the channel and continue our journey as hip-hop's first and premier extreme podcast.